Hello guys, welcome back to Coding Cafe. My name is Mohammed Ali and in this video tutorial, first of all let me tell you, in the previous tutorial we have uploaded the blog picture and blog data to the Firebase storage and also to the Firebase real-time database. Here you can see it. Now in this tutorial what we are going to do is to retrieve and display all the blogs from different users here on our home page, or you can say on our main page basically. So yeah, and let's start this. And before starting this, let me tell you that is in the previous tutorial, if you remembered, we have created this reset form function, which is when a user upload a new picture and data to the Firebase storage and Firebase database, then we have to reset the form, that is to remove, to make the progress bar 0, and also to fade out the selected image. Now we forget to call this reset form method here after this window dot open. Sorry, not here, but I mean after this else statement. Okay, so you can just call that function here, so it will reset the form. Okay, now let's start working and retrieve. So you are going to learn in this video that how you can retrieve and display data from the Firebase storage and Firebase database, and for the web, basically using nodejs with Firebase real-time database and Firebase storage. So yeah, let's start this. Now what's next? After this reset form above the script tag, let's add a comment, and that comment will be basically, as I told you, many times, that just for the our understanding, so that we can differentiate between the code. So this one is for the retrieving and display. Okay, so we can say retrieve and display data from Firebase, whether it is storage or real-time database. And then we can just say, let's copy this comment, copy it, and then we can paste it here, and we can say and ends here. Okay, so inside this, now we can add our code. So first of all we're going to need is to create a reference to our blogs node, okay, which is basically this one. Okay, so for that we can just say and let's give it a name as db blogs equals to firebase dot database dot child, and the child is, as usual, it is our blogs node. Okay, this one. And then after this we are going to say, now this is basically the main reference which we will be needing, but what we want is that we want the query in descending order, so that our new post appear here at the top. Okay, we want like that. And as you remember in the previous video tutorial, if you have not watched it, that please go and watch that video tutorial first. In that video we just create a variable which I told you we will use in the next tutorial, which is basically our counter variable. If I show you, then here it is. Okay, counter equals to 0. We initialize this with 0. Now what we're going to do here, we are going to add that counter alongside with the information which you are saving for a blog post in the Firebase real-time database. But before that, what we're going to do here is that first we have to do something with when we retrieve all the posts, then we are going to retrieve it using order by child, order by child. Use the same spellings, as these are not, these are basically the built-in keywords, or you can say from the Firebase. Okay, so this counter is the variable which we will store now. Okay, we will just store this key, but first let's retrieve the data, and then I will tell you guys how it will work. So now we can say db blogs dot on value comma function, let's say blog. I mean, we need just to pass any object name here, so let's say blog. We can give it a name as blogs. And then in here we can say if blogs dot exist. Sorry, here we need to put these two braces. Okay, so if blogs exist, then using the for each loop we are going to retrieve the data one by one and display it. So we can say var blogs html equals to null, mean by using these blogs html. And then what we're gonna do is we can just say blogs dot for each function. So we are going to retrieve it one by one, so let's give this name as single blog. And we are going to increment our counter by one. Okay, now what this means basically, let me tell you. Okay, now here at the top, I mean upward at the very first starting, we initialize counter with 0. Now here we create a reference to our blogs node. Okay, and here it will retrieve the child one by one. So let's say now here we have only one block. Okay, so when it retrieve it, it will retrieve only one child. So it means that one is already I mean it starts from 0. So in counter it will like 1 0 plus 1. Okay, counter is initialized with 0, so 0 plus 1 1. So I mean it will be counter will have only one value. Let's say if we have 2, then 2. Okay, and it means that already we have 1, so 1 plus 1 2, so it will become 2. Now we have to add this counter variable inside the database when we store our data in the Firebase real-time database, which is here. Okay, here all you will need is just to say use the same spelling. Okay, counter, and then pass the counter variable to it, so that counter. And yeah, one thing, we will start from, let's say, I mean we have to perform some trick here. Okay, so we will say that is we have to start from a greater value, let's say 5000 or something like this. I mean the total number of words, let's say, not semicolon, put a comma here. Okay, so the first post which we will now update, I mean which we will now upload, it will start from uh, I mean the counter value will be 5000, and then the second post will be 4999, and then the other post 4998, and same it will go in decreasing order. So in that way when we will be retrieving the post, I mean all the blogs, then it will be using this counter. Okay, dot order by child counter. So only in that case we can display the new post here at the top on our main page, or we can say on our home page. Now we will see how it works. First let's implement this. Okay, and make sure to remove the blog node from the database, because we update our I mean we update our code and information for a blog post. Okay, so yeah, I mean that is okay now. And also if you want, you can remove this image, because we do not need it. We delete the node, so there is no need for this image. I mean we will now upload further more images. So anyways, come here, and inside after this counter we can say blogs I mean, we have to display each element, each blog along with their information. So we can say blog HTML plus equals to, and put these two double quotation, and we have to open a div tag and then make sure to close it also. And then we are going to add a class to our this div, so we can say class, sorry, make sure to give some space here, okay, equals to, then single quotation, and inside this single quotation we can say jumbotron bg dash light, text will be dark, and border, let's add a border, okay, so you can say border dash dark. Yeah, that's it. Now this ending tag, which is our this one, okay, just cut this from here, control X, and make sure to put a semicolon here. We have to add this here, okay. We can say blogs HTML plus equals to, now basically we are retrieving the information here, okay, and then paste that ending div here. Now between these two div we will now first display the image, then date, time, and the username. So yeah, I mean that is okay. Now we can say blogs, let's add some space here, okay. So we can say blogs HTML plus equals to, now for the time saving I'm just copy pasting this thing, okay. Just copy paste this and we will change it for our, I mean for displaying the picture. So div class, okay, just remove this. I mean, what if we just, for the time saving, we are doing a trick here. I mean, just copy this so that we cannot copy it again and again. So just paste it here. Make sure to move this so that we can have a basic structure, okay. So this second div start here and ends here, okay, inside this parent div, okay, which is this one. So yeah, anyways, now div class, or remove this class, and we need to add our img tag in order to display the image. So we can say img width equals to, now make sure to put two single quotation, and also make sure to close this image tag first. So width add 0.5, and then after this we want to display the height for this image, so single quotation two times, and then 450 will be good, and ending tag, and after this ending tag let's add a b or tag, okay, and then in here we are going to display the image, I mean inside this div. I mean we have to pass the value to it. So how we can do that? We can just say blogs html plus equals to blogs dot val dot image. Now this image is basically from the database, which is our, okay, I delete that node, but basically this, make sure to use the same names at the time when we are sending this data. Here you can see, okay, these names at the time when we are sending this to the real-time database. So yeah, I mean we have to use that similar names here. So after that we need to display the name. We will display it in a single row, so for that we need to add a div and a class row. So just copy paste this here, and we have a div, class equals to row, single quotation, oh sorry, inside this single quotation, row, class row. And then we have to remove this img tag since we do not need it here. And logs, we have to end our this row, I mean this one div, okay, which is our row. And then inside this whole row we are going to add the name, time, and the date. So what we can do here is that we can say blogs html plus equals to add double quotation, make sure to put a semicolon here, and then inside this, okay, don't do it like this, I mean it will display errors. So here let's add our first div, then the closing div, and then we have to add a class to it. So you can say class equals to call minus sn-5, and then between these div tag we are going to add a paragraph tag, which we can do by p, and then end that paragraph div. And then in here we have to pass some values, but before that what we're gonna do is just to add a style to it, just for coloring purposes. I mean we can say color colon gray, then add a semicolon here, okay. And after this what we need to do is let's add a, move this to the next line so that we can understand it more easily, okay. Make sure to add here this double quotation, it is up to here, okay. And then we have this thing, also make sure to add this double quotation here. This is just to make this in a proper shape. So our, and make sure to give some space here, okay, which is our paragraph. And this paragraph tag ends here. Now we have to pass the value of our basically our description. So how we can do that? All we're gonna need is just right here this plus, and then after this let's add the I mean first let display the publisher name, okay, that is the username. So you can say published by, and then the publisher name, which we can get by using blogs dot val dot, and we can get it by the name, sorry, come here, I mean we have to check it is okay. Now as you know we have deleted the blog node from the database. So here I also see one thing, which here you can see the name are same, so we cannot use the same names here. So let's change this to user name, okay, user name, and then copy this, because this one is basically the file name, okay. So yeah, I mean all we're gonna need is just to paste that username here. Well, that is okay, not semicolon, but this plus is already here, okay. Now what we need is that let's move this semicolon to the next line, and now just copy paste this div up to here, and then paste it in the next line. And make sure that you write here, I mean before this here we need to write this concatenation plus sign, okay. Even after that you can add some extra space. So the second thing which we want to display is basically the time, and here we can say time, and then we need to display the date also, so just copy it, add a concatenation sign plus, and then paste that here, and then we can say date time date, then pass the date variable here, date. So make sure that you follow the exact steps, okay, do not miss anything here. And this is our row tag which ends here, okay. And then after this, what we're gonna do is we need to display the last thing, which is the description. So for that, what I'm going to do is just copy these two tags, I mean for the image which we wrote here, and then come down here, and after this ending wrote div tag, just paste it here, okay. And then let's change it. First of all, remove this image since this is not required here, and then we can say blocks dot where dot description. And I'm really sorry, here we need to write these two braces, okay. Make sure that it is present here also. Yeah, and if you want to add some styling, like for the description, I mean to make it justify, then we can add that here inside this div tag for it. So we can say style, I mean to make the text justify, or the, I mean if you want to change the text color or whatever styling you want to apply to it. So text align colon justify semicolon color black. And yeah, that is, I mean, just finished here. And then after this we have to display it after our, let me show it to you. I hope you remember in the previous video tutorial I told you, here we add this div, which is basically this one. So we are going to display all these blocks inside this div. So how we can do it, all you're going to need is just to access this div by this id, which is blocks, and all our blocks will appear here below this all new blocks heading. If I show you, then below this all new blocks, okay. So how we can do it, just copy this blocks id or remember it, and then come down here, and here we can say that here dollar hash blogs dot html blogs html and save it. Okay, sorry, you have to write this inside the double quotation. So everything is okay, let's just save all. Come here, refresh the page, and let's add some random posts. So hello, my first post. Let's choose a picture quickly. So this one, click post, and here you can see progress is updating, and blog has been uploaded successfully, and the reset function is called, okay. And we are, I mean the blog is not updating here. Let's check the inspect element, go to console, and here we have error, no Firebase app default has been created, call Firebase app dot initialize app, no. Let's just refresh the page if we get any result, but anyways, if, I mean the data is not retrieving. If we go here, then it is already stored, because we have already done that part in the previous video tutorial, okay. Here you can see it counter, okay. I mean that is working fine, but the thing is that is the posts are not retrieving here because we want to retrieve and display that. Also, if I show you the Firebase storage, then the image is stored here inside our this folder, which you will see now. Okay, so we have to check this. Now if you come here to the Visual Studio Code, okay, first of all let me tell you, I don't know why, but every time I forget to write .ref, okay, Firebase database dot reference, which is ref. Make sure to write this. Even in the previous tutorial I forgot to write this ref, database dot reference. Let's just save it and then we will see if we get any error or what. Okay, so now it again says, but anyways we have correct this one thing which was a problem. Okay, dot ref. Now basically what this error means that no Firebase app default has been created. It means that we are not accessing this thing here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, now the main thing which I forgot to tell you guys, I remember one thing. Okay, here it is blogs, okay, which is for all. Just we create as an object which is snapshot. If you have ever done the Android development, then just like we use data snapshot or snapshots, even in JavaScript we use snapshots. Okay, just as an object we use it. So here you can see for each we are using single block. We are using this for each, we are retrieving the post one by one and we are displaying the data, and just by mistake I forgot to here all you need is just to replace this block with single block. Okay, this is just by mistake. So single block single block dot date. The child which is retrieving one by one, we have to display the information related to only that one. Okay, and yeah, but by the way, this will not solve our problem. Our problem is that the error says that the Firebase database is not initialized as a default. Now basically that error, this error basically means that we have to initialize our app here. Okay, when we are retrieving. So it basically means that we can copy it and paste that whole thing here. Okay, and then it will work. So let's just copy this. Okay, also let's copy this auth for distance.local. Okay, just copy it. Let's come here, and before when we are retrieving and displaying it from the database, let's just paste it here. Okay, and I think it is before there was no problem, but since it is the latest version, whenever the version of Firebase change, then there are some changes comes alongside with the new version. So that is why we have to add this. Otherwise, maybe if you are using the old version of Firebase, that is at the time when I'm recording this video, the version is 6.3.1. So maybe if you are using the old version, or let's say if you are watching this in the future, then maybe your version of Firebase is newer than me or older than me, and maybe your app works without adding this piece of code. Okay, so in that case you can just ignore it. Okay, in that case you can just ignore it. So I just save it, and let's just display it. Refresh the page, and here you can see it. Muhammad Ali time, this is the date and this thing, but the image is not displaying here, and for that I can tell you the reason why it is not. So let's just remove this extra spacing, and okay, so now what we're going to do is, here we have not provided the source for displaying this image. So after this, when we say height equals to 450, okay, uh, we can pass this single block.well.image in a source. Okay, that is the source of this image is equals to put single quote, okay, and then we are adding this after this single quote, and then here we have to pass it the single quote here, okay, and make sure to not close this this img tag here, okay, because we have this source which belongs to the img tag, and after this source we pass the image url here, and then after that add this single quote, and then we have to close our this img tag just like this, okay, and then save it, save all. Let's just refresh it, and now here you can see the image, okay. Now let's just remove this, and now let's just make our design proper, okay. So come here to the Visual Studio Code, and first of all make sure to we have to add this row proper, okay, this published by time and date. And if you have knowledge about the bootstrap, then we have the columns 12, okay. So 5 5 5 15, which is not the proper, we have to make it 12 for this parent row. So either 12 or below 12, okay. So we can say 5 3 and then 4. Now let's save it, refresh it, and then here you can see it, okay. Now it looks good. Now we can increase the image size, the width for this image. So the width you can increase from here, okay. Here you can see it. Add 0.5, you can say 1000 px. Let's test it. So here you can see it. This is our image size, and you can also change the height. It depends on you, whatever you like. 550 px or 500 px. So it depends, how you want the design, and this is our description. Now if you want to move this a little bit here, so that it can be aligned here, you can add some space from the left side, or you can also margin from the left. Also you can add some space. So this is our that. Let's first check it by the margin left, if that is working fine or not. So style, after the semicolon we can say margin dash left colon 15 px. Let's just save it, refresh it, and let's change the value to 45 px. So it will be, so it depends on you, how much you want to give margin and all the things. If you have good designing skills, that is bootstrap knowledge and all that stuffs, then you can do it more easily, okay. So 75 is good, I think, okay. So yeah, now what we will be doing in the next tutorial is that we will work on my blogs. So that, let's say I am an online user, so if I click on my blogs, then it will display all the blogs that I uploaded to this application, to this web app which we developed using the Firebase. Now you can create further, just log out from here and create further users, okay. That is, let's say 10 or 5 users, and upload 20 or 25 new posts, okay, to this application, using different different users, different user email and their password. Just log into the app and upload random posts, okay, and then you will see that is the new post will appear here at the top. If I just show you guys, then let me check. Okay, this new post, click on post, and here you can see the new post appear here at the top. So you just here you can see I am now uploading it by one user, which is Muhammad Ali. You can create multiple user, I mean register new user into this app. Okay, create many users, that is, let's say 9 or 10 or 15 other users, and from each account upload multiple posts. Okay, so that you can test it more easily. And then in the next tutorial we will work on the my blogs, where we will allow user to basically see their own posts. Okay, so yeah, that's it for this video, and in the next tutorial we will further work on our my blogs. So yeah, bye for now.